William Shakespeare was born in 1564 as the third of 8 children born to Mary and John Shakespeare, and grew up just north of London. It's believed that Shakespeare started attending Stratford Grammar School at age 6 and was pulled out of school at 13 due to his father's financial and social difficulties. It's difficult to trace Shakespeare's life in the following years, but in 1580 he re-emerged as a professional actor, and at the age of 18 he married Anne Hathaway and had 3 children. Soon Shakespeare started writing plays, quickly becoming known for his ingenious wordplay and distinctive poetic style. He went on to become a world-famous poet and playwright, reinventing theatrical conventions and defying stereotypes by merging classical literary genres and incorporating jarring shifts in tone and spectacles into his pieces.
My Mistress' Eyes Are Nothing Like the Sun was number 130 in a series of 154 sonnets published in 1609. My mistress' eyes are nothing like the sun. Coral is far more red than her lips red. If snow be white, why then her breasts are dun. If hairs be wires, black wires grow on her head. I have seen roses damasked, red and white, but no such roses I see in her cheeks. And in some perfumes there is more delight than in the breath that from my mistress reeks. I love to hear her speak, yet well I know that music hath a far more pleasing sound. Grant I never saw a goddess go. My mistress, when she walks, treads on the ground. And yet by heaven I think my love as rare as any she belied with false compare.
This poem is a sonnet and follows an A-B-A-B, C-D-C-D, E-F, E-F, G-G rhyme scheme. This is recognized as the classic Shakespearean or English sonnet, not to be confused to that of the Petrarchan or Italian sonnet. It is composed of 14 lines in iambic pentameter, meaning each line of poetry contains 10 syllables in a specific pattern of stressed syllable followed by an unstressed syllable. Though this poem is written in one stanza, it can be divided into 3 quatrains and a couplet, with each quatrain containing 4 lines with alternating rhyme.
This poem was written during the Elizabethan era, in which the ideal of beauty was a pallid complexion, rosy cheeks, red lips, and fair hair. Shakespeare goes through and says the opposite of each of these things, saying that Coral is more red than her lips, her skin is an ugly brown-gray color, and she has no color in her cheeks. He then goes on to say that her breath smells worse than perfume, her voice sounds worse than music, and that he has never seen a goddess, but he certainly hopes that she is not one. These insults may seem harsh, but many of them are direct commentaries on popular poetic sayings at the time. For example, wire was a very expensive and seen as a delicacy, only to be used in fine jewelry, so it was very common to compare beautiful hair to golden wire. But Shakespeare says, if hairs be wires, black wires grow on her head.
The poem ends with a couplet, a pair of lines that create a complete thought separate from the rest of the poem. Shakespeare spends the bulk of the poem seemingly insulting his love, but in these last 2 lines he swears by heaven that his love is rare because he is not making false claims about what should be. This shifts the entire meaning of the piece because he is not insulting her, but rather recognizing her for who she is and not who he wishes she would be.
Throughout history, there have always been unachievable beauty ideals that are perpetuated through media, whether that be poetry, film, news, music, or social media. These ideas of beauty are ever-changing, but consistently harmful. And here, Shakespeare is using his position to actively work against these harmful stereotypes.
For this reason, many see this poem as one of the most romantic poems in history. It is a commentary on the unreasonable and idealistic love poems of the time and beauty standards in general. Instead, Shakespeare highlights what really makes someone beautiful, not the redness of their lips, the paleness of their breasts, or the sweet scent of their breath, but the content of their character and the beauty in their soul.